To the council table, and Tim, you had your hand up first.
Do we have the entire contract in its final form and all the appendixes and exhibits?
No, the contract that you have right now is materially complete. We are still working through some of the little itty-bitty pieces. We have all the exhibits, maybe with the exception of one or two collected.
We don't have exhibits.
There are several times within the contract where it references an appendix or exhibit. I've turned to find it. I don't have that. You all would agree. You all agree we shouldn't vote on this till we get the complete contract, wouldn't you?
I disagree. The exhibits, a lot of the exhibits are available in the RFP. They were just information that needed to be pulled out and repointed. We have worked through the majority of the exhibits, and we can make those available. But again,
you want council to guess if they're getting the right RFP exhibit for the contract? I mean, is there a problem delaying it until we get the full contract?
I would say yes.
And what is that?
The problem is that we're on a very tight timeline if we're going to keep our transition schedule.
If there's a problem on the timeline, then why don't you all have the complete contract to council tonight?
Because we're fast tracking, because we have to do a lot of things at the same time, because it's been a very, very long process.
Okay. One of the things that was said was that it's in the bullet point of why ATOS origin, and the third bullet point was willing to take the current employee pool. That's inaccurate, isn't it? They're not mandated to take the entire current employee pool, are they?
There is no mandate to take the current employee pool. That is something that's optional on their part.
Oh, okay. When you said one of the reasons why you liked them from the start, it was willing to take the current employee pool, but they're not taking the pool. They're taking maybe the shallow end of the pool, the key employees, right?
That's incorrect, and I don't recall saying that I liked them from the start because they were going to take the employee pool. I don't recall saying that. But to answer the question regarding the employee pool, obviously we have resources here. I think Fort Wayne's a great place to live. They think Fort Wayne's a great place to live. They want to stay in Fort Wayne. It's an opportunity to have a win-win regarding the employees that are currently knowledge workers on our systems and in our environments, and it allows us to migrate that knowledge into the next contract.
I was left impression from your comments, but from earlier conversations about this that were shared with me that they were going to offer positions to all the existing employees. That's not what they're required to do, right?
They are not required to offer positions to all employees.
What that says in the contract is that they will mandated to offer employees to people who hold quote-unquote key positions.
That is correct. There's
an exhibit reference to key positions with a question mark. That's one of the exhibits we don't have.
Okay.
You didn't have enough time before tonight to get us the key positions?
Again, we can get you the key positions if you so choose. I think we can probably find that before the night is out.
There's a very strong protection for the key position employees in here, right, Cliff?
The employee, no. The function, yes. So it's less about the individual, but it's about what they know and what systems they support, say our HR or public safety or something of that nature.
It says it's the intention of the parties hereunder to provide all the employees of the current service provider with an interview and consideration for all available positions with the service provider, and to offer positions to the current service provider employees who hold key positions. If you hold a key position now, ATOS is required to offer you employment.
No. All right. Again, the function is around it's around the function of the environment. That's what's key. So an application, again, HR, a key application, our billing application, there are people who actually know, they might have been a designer or a creator and things like that, and that's really what we're trying to retain. Now, the mere fact that a physical body, an individual, is the person that knows that is a derivative of that piece, and that's what we were trying to capture and hold on to.
service provider acknowledges that in the event it breaches its obligation to offer employment to key employees in accordance with this section, the city and county will be irreparably harmed. And it goes on to say that we get an injunction against you that you have to hire that key employee. If you mean key position, this contract does not say that. If you say they just have to keep the position, this contract does not say that.
Again, the two are very closely linked, and there's no doubt about that, right? We definitely need the subject matter expert because they maintain a system that is critical to the business of the city.
So I'm misreading this. What the contract is intended is to say you have to keep this position. The individual who currently fills it, you are under no requirement to keep.
There is no mandate to keep we did identify special roles, and in fact, by doing so, you can direct a person or draw a line to a person that says that person does that role, that person has that knowledge base. That is true, absolutely. But there is no, other than that small group, there is no broad-based global expectation that the vendor has to keep 100% of the staff.
I didn't ask about 100%. I asked your key positions or key employees which are used in this contract. Atos doesn't have to, under this contract, you're telling me, accept and offer a position and accept for employment any of the current employees filling these positions.
Say that again, please.
Atos does not have to offer for employment to any of the employees currently filling these positions. Is that what you're telling us?
We're referring to specifically the key positions. Is that correct? I just want to narrow the scope of what we're talking about so that I can answer the question correctly.
My question was any. It would include the key positions.
Okay, so if you say any, the answer is no. They are not mandated to offer any when you say
Could Atos fire and relieve and otherwise not hire all the existing people in the current positions? Yes or no?
Can they fire all of the people in the positions? The answer is no. They cannot fire, they wouldn't want to fire all
I'm not asking
of
about
the
what they
people.
want to do or not to do.
Right, I understand.
Are they bound by this contract to accept the individuals who fill any of the current positions?
There are some positions that we have identified that are staffed by individuals that are key to our business operation, and we would like them to take those people.
Jim, can you answer my question? Because I'm not getting it answered.
Look in section 3.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
316.
Yeah, I'm looking. Well, 316.
What is it?
believe that's where it is.
Page 317.
Page 316.
Yeah,
Well, why don't you come on up?
Contract.
Run a seat.
They have to. Go ahead. Just go ahead and say your name and stuff.
Okay. My name is Ron Anger, and I'm with Barrett McNaghy. I've worked on the contract itself. And Councilman Pape, I think the answer to your question is, yes, there are certain employees who end up being protected. You guys were a little crossways on your interpretation.
Give your name. I don't.
He did.
He did. I'm sorry.
I was
Okay.
talking to
All
you,
right. Thank you. All
I'm
right.
But if there is an employee who fills a key position, that employee is essentially protected for a period under the contract.
12 months.
Other employees are not protected. So I think,
That answers the question. Thanks, Ron.
all right.